Now the latest ITV News Central with Matt Teal and Samina Ali Khan.
A D-Day veteran from Stourbridge returns to Normandy to remember the comrades who never came home.
71 years ago, hundreds of thousands of Allied troops invaded the beaches of Normandy in what turned out to be one of the most decisive operations of the Second World War.
Dennis Bolter from Stourbridge is a veteran of the D-Day landings, and earlier this week he crossed the Channel to return to northern France. As Lauren Hall reports, it's a trip which has been funded by fines levied on the banks.
All aboard for their tour of Normandy. These veterans have just arrived on the coast of France, where they fought more than 70 years ago. During the Second World War, they served in the D-Day landings. Now they've been brought back here on a publicly funded trip, one of a number that's been paid for out of bank fines.
We have 8 veterans here today. There are some that have fought in campaigns all over the world, and for them to come back and put to rest perhaps some of the ghosts from those times.
The 5-day trip means a lot to the veterans, who say coming here has brought back memories.
That's the important thing, you know. You have memories and they never go. Sometimes silly little things, sometimes big major things.
I'm grateful to be alive to come back and revisit it.
We're back where we were 14 years ago. So,
Are you glad you came?
yeah.
There was also a visit to Ronville War Cemetery, where the veterans could pay their respects. This is one of many war cemeteries here in Normandy. For the veterans, coming here is one of the most important parts of their trip, a chance to remember those who lost their lives. They held a short service, reading poems and a few prayers.
We will remember them. We will remember them.
Afterwards, they laid a wreath before pausing for a moment of reflection and remembrance. They were then given time to visit the graves. By chance, Dennis Bolter from Stourbridge came across his friend's final resting place. He didn't know he'd been buried here, and shows me a photo of him.
One of the fellows from the Marines come and asked if I was in the boat. He said, then there's some down there. And that's all happened.
It was one of your friends?
One of the mates, yes, that's him. Bless him.
People here know only too well the sacrifices that were made when they freed France from the Nazis. This cafe was one of the first places to be liberated. The current owner was a young girl living here with her family. She tells me how much she enjoys meeting our veterans and hearing their stories.
To me, they are memories that we are keeping alive, and they're great treasures, and long may we keep them.
Everywhere they go, the veterans are greeted by people. These young boys were keen to meet Dennis and hear about his experiences.
I really enjoyed meeting Dennis. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so I really enjoyed speaking to him and seeing his story all the way through his life. So.
Yeah, I was actually saying to him, really, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that I see him, so it really means a lot.
It's been more than 70 years, but what these men did is still remembered and still talked about. Here in Normandy, they'll never be forgotten. Lauren Hall, ITV News.
Well, other D-Day veterans from the West Midlands are being encouraged to take part in the trips, which, as Lauren said, are being funded by the banks. They'll be running until later this year. You can find out all the details you need on our website. Details on the screen, itv.com/central.